So let's start off with creating the curriculum. Number one is you have to define your area of reentry. What I've seen a lot of times is people want a reentry program and they want to cover everything that has to do with reentry. They want to cover personal development. They want to cover the employment side. They want to cover this entrepreneurship side. They want to cover all of these different sides of the reentry area. When prisons or correctional institutions are looking for a specific area, a specific lane that they want to know that you cover, because they might already have something. You covering everything. They might already have 2 or 3 programs inside of their prison that's covering some of the areas that you have. So you got to define your area of reentry that you're going to cover. You can boil it down to one area or two. Don't say I'm coming to cover everything about reentry, because then you talk about you coming to cover clothing, transportation, every area of reentry, and it's hard to have a reentry program that's going to cover everything like that and pitch it to a prison official or the warden or the assistant warden or the reentry coordinator, because they already have certain programs that do these things. So they're looking for other programs that is different from the programs that they already have inside a prison. Once you define that area of reentry, you want to break that area down into steps. Like I chose personal development. And the reason why I chose personal development, because personal development covers a lot of topics. It can cover attitude, it can cover anger management, it can cover perceptions, beliefs, values. And so that's why I chose personal development, and I can break it down into these different areas. I can break it down into these different steps. So like personal development, I can break it down in the area of attitude. I can break it down in the area of goal setting. I can break it down in the area of perceptions and beliefs. I can break it down in the area of expectations, attitude. I can break it down in these different areas because they all deal with personal development. And so when I break it down into these steps, number 3, I turn these steps in these areas into chapters of the curriculum. So now I got a chapter for attitude. Now I got a chapter for beliefs. Now I got a chapter for expectations. Now I got a chapter for anything else to go along with my personal development. And so once you break them steps down in chapters, you make those chapters your lessons in your curriculum, because we creating the curriculum. That's how we creating the curriculum. You define in the area of reentry that you want to. This is what I'm going to do in the reentry. I'm locking this lane right here. Whether if it's say if you chose trucking, the CDL course, I'm gonna lock in the CDL in the area of reentry. I'm gonna go into prison and I'm gonna have a CDL course to help those and prepare them for getting their CDLs. When they walk out of prison, they can go take the test and they can get their CDLs, but they need to learn everything about it. So that's my goal and that's my curriculum. So I know in the CDLs, you're gonna have to learn about the pre-trip. You're going to take a permit, then you're going to have to do your driver's test, which is a pre-trip inspection, then the actual driving test. So I know in prison you can't do the actual driving unless I build a virtual reality course. So, like, you can go so many ways with it. So you can build a virtual reality course that does that, and then you can bring that on the inside of prison. Or even if you don't have the virtual reality, you can still break it down, and then you break down the chapter. So I got 3 areas: the driving test, the pre-trip, and the inspections. And then you break down each one. This is what you need to know. Let's talk about the break section of the inspection. This is what you need to know. And you just break each one of them chapters down, and then you turn them sections into lessons. You turn them chapters into lessons, and what I mean by lessons, as in it can be questions in the lessons. It can be exercises in the lessons. Like in my personal development, we do a little bit of both. We do questions and we do exercises, depending on what we're doing in the lesson. Like one lesson was talking about communication and being able to listen when someone is speaking and not want to speak all the time. And one of the lessons was we broke down in groups of 3s. And it was a spokesperson for the group, and they had a piece of paper, a diaphragm that had these these shapes on it. It was circles, rectangular, triangle, a line, but they was positioned in different areas on the paper. And so they had to communicate what they seen and how the pieces was on the paper to the two people, and the two people had to try to draw it out and try to match it up to come close to what the actual picture looked like. So you can take all of them different lessons and all them different chapters and breaking down the lessons, whether they exercise, questions, and things like that. And then once you do that, once you put them together, then you make a physical copy, and then you keep a digital. The reason why you want a physical and a digital, because now that curriculum becomes your guide for your program. That becomes your guide for your program. So we're going to later on, when we talk about getting into the program and doing the logistics and everything, this is the reason why you're going to need this guide. And so that's what the physical and the copy is. So when you go in and you have your meeting with the wardens, the reentry coordinator, and everybody, then you got these physical guides. So they're saying, okay, this is the curriculum right here. You hand them this, the curriculum. They flip through it. It's matching what you went in there speaking about. And then you say, well, if the days that I can't come in, I got a digital curriculum as well that we operate off of. And you keep the digital curriculum because you're going to need that in your marketing strategy, in your marketing press. And so them are the 4 steps of creating the curriculum: defining the area of reentry that you're looking to go into. No more than two areas that you want to work on. Break down them areas down into steps. Turn them steps into chapters. Make those chapters lessons, and then make it physical and digital.